It all started when I discovered that Karen, the infamous HOA troublemaker, had listed my private ranch lake online without my permission. She posted photos, described amenities, and even suggested it was community accessible. A blatant lie. I couldn't believe the audacity. This was my property, my sanctuary, and she was trying to profit off it. I first learned of her scheme when a prospective buyer called me, asking if they could tour my lake. At first, I laughed it off, thinking it must be some mistake. But when I checked the listing, there it was, my private lake, my dock, my fishing spots, all presented as part of her HOA's exclusive access. She had ignored every boundary, every legal warning I'd sent her in the past. My first instinct was to call the cops. But when I did, they informed me that it was a civil matter, not criminal. The HOA, of course, backed her claim weakly, citing some vague rule about shared lake access. I knew I had to take more decisive action. This wasn't the first time Karen had tried to overreach, and it wouldn't be the last. I began by documenting everything. Screenshots of the listing, timestamps of her posting, and photos proving that the lake was part of my private property. Then, I formulated a plan that would guarantee long-term control, something no police visit or HOA mediation could undo. The next step was bold. I purchased her property. Karen's lot had been on the market for a while, overpriced and underappreciated. But for me, it was a perfect opportunity. Owning her lot meant controlling the only access points she had to my lake. The moment the sale finalized, I made a few quick changes. Gates were installed, fences reinforced, and her old back entrance was now strictly off-limits. She could no longer casually stroll onto my property. When Karen realized what had happened, her reaction was exactly as I'd expected. Fury. She tried calling the HOA, trying to claim that her lot somehow still entitled her to lake access. The HOA, perhaps finally recognizing her pattern of entitlement, did nothing. Legal documents were presented, and my ownership of her lot made it impossible for her to bypass my property legally. But I didn't stop there. I also enhanced security around the lake itself. Cameras, motion sensors, and smart locks ensured that no unauthorized person could access it without my permission. For the first time, the lake was truly mine, untouched, peaceful, and free from Karen's manipulations. What was satisfying, beyond the legal victory, was watching Karen's growing desperation. She tried everything: petitions to the HOA, social media complaints, even passive-aggressive flyers in the neighborhood. Nothing worked. She had underestimated me once again, thinking that entitlement and audacity could trump legal ownership and planning. I invited neighbors over for a weekend fishing tournament, leaving her out entirely. The event highlighted the benefits of respecting boundaries. Those who had previously been wary of confrontation now saw what it meant to enforce property rights decisively. Karen's exclusion wasn't mean-spirited. It was a clear message: respect ownership or face consequences. Over time, Karen became a cautionary tale in the community. She was still loud, still aggressive, but now powerless when it came to my property. Every attempt to bypass the restrictions ended in frustration. Meanwhile, I enjoyed uninterrupted weekends at the lake, fishing, swimming, and hosting friends without any fear of intrusion. The key takeaway from this saga: don't rely on others to enforce your rights when they may be conflicted or slow. Sometimes the most effective solution is taking control directly, planning strategically, and ensuring that legal ownership aligns with practical control. Karen learned the hard way that manipulations, lies, and entitlement mean nothing when faced with preparation, strategy, and determination. By the end, the lake had become a symbol not just of natural beauty, but of boundaries firmly established and fiercely protected. Karen's attempts to claim it were a fleeting storm, easily weathered by foresight, documentation, and bold action. Peace had been restored on my terms, and for once, Karen had nothing to say.